What's up, y'all? It's me, Nato Maya, and I'm back with another Raising Kanan Season 4 and beyond theory and prediction video. Now, today I got a doozy for y'all. This one is going to connect OG Power to Raising Kanan's timeline and the unseen timeline of Power Origins, okay? Because the topic of this theory and prediction is how Kanan will predict Angela's death to Ghost in Power Origins, okay? Now, from initially thinking about this, you may think that there's nothing there, but I'm going to show y'all that there is a lot there, especially if we consider what's going to go on within the series of Power Origins, all right? There's a lot to think about. Like I said, this is going to be all encompassing between the timelines of Raising Kanan, OG Power, and what we have yet to be seen in Power Origins. This video is going to be another banger. Go ahead, like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new here. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, now, y'all, let's break it down like this. So, when I ask the question, or when I make the statement saying how Kanan will predict Angela's death to Ghost in Power Origins, we have to consider everything that Kanan is going through right now, right? Currently, right now, only Jukebox knows that Crystal is dead. But of course, Jukebox is going to tell Kanan that Crystal is gone. And when you think about who Crystal is and what she represents, we have to understand the correlations that we can make between Crystal and Angela, right? The similarities between Crystal and Angela are this, right? Two women fell in love with a young street nigga, drug dealers, right? But two women who, even though Crystal did what she did to Juke, even though she was a complete bitch to Juke because they were competing for who's going to be the lead singer in Butter. You know, she was trying to get a Beyonce on. Overall, we can make the assessment that Crystal is pretty much a good girl. She ain't give us no reason to think that she was anything but that. From the moment season 4 began, all the way up until Pop sent her to that upper room, right? So we know that both Angela and Crystal, good girls, right? Related to the streets by proxy, right? But not seriously involved in the streets themselves, right? They both fell in love with these street guys who they seen so much potential in and wanted them to reach their potential, right? And then ultimately, both of these women ended up being murdered by sheer association with the men who they love. Very similar. So we got to ask ourselves now, how does that relate to Kanan predicting Angela's death to Ghost in Power Origins, right? For the simple fact of this, Kanan lost Crystal. When he has Ghost and Tommy under his wing, we're going to find that Ghost is going to be messing up a little bit, concerning himself with Angela instead of putting in work, right? We're going to find that Kanan is going to have more than one conversation with Ghost about Angela. And with them all getting to know each other and building bonds, we have to believe that Kanan is going to tell Ghost the story about the first woman he ever was truly in love with and how she died from being a square to the game but being associated to him, because there will come a time before season 5 is over where Kanan is going to hold himself accountable and admit that Crystal, Famous, and D-Wiz died because of him. right? We got to understand also that Kanan is going to tell Ghost something like, and y'all let me know, because I feel like this is definitely something that sounds like OG Power Kanan, where Kanan is going to say to Ghost, man, what? She leaving? She going to school? Man, leave that bitch alone, man. Let her live her life. You'll probably get her killed. She'll probably get killed dealing with your stupid ass, right? This the game we in. And mind you, by this point, Kanan will have Jarita. Jarita, and because I have an idea for another video, I'm just going to briefly touch on Jarita and say, we already know from the little bit of what we know about Jarita from when Kanan came home in OG Power, that Jarita is the opposite woman of what Crystal was, right? And there's a video that I'm going to make where I'm going to make some more connections to other people in OG Power, right? But this is where, or around the time where Kanan is going to tell Ghost, like, yo, listen, man, you need to let her go. Let her go to school. He might say something like, you think about going to Cho? What you going to chase behind that bitch? This is what we do here, all right? You ain't got no business going to Cho. You know Kanan, by that point, he's going to be manipulative in his own way. Somewhere in a way that he is not right now. We have not seen any of the manipulative ways of OG Power's Kanan seen in Raising Kanan's timelines Kanan right now. But by the time he has Ghost and Tommy under his wing, he will be more manipulative. Because he knows that Ghost is a valuable asset to him. He's especially going to have a reason to tell Ghost, like, yo, man, leave the Porter Rock chick alone, right? We got our business over here. We was always meant to do this. Let her do what she do. I believe that Kanan will ultimately be the person who convinced Ghost to stay in the South Side, right? Partly because of the fact that he had to look after Tommy, but Kanan is probably going to be the one to tell Ghost, not only you possibly going to get this girl killed by dealing with you, hence I lost my girl, who was a square to the game, just by mere association. Don't think that can't happen to you, Ghost. But also, who's going to look after Tommy when you gone? I ain't looking after that stupid nigga. Who gonna look after Tommy? Tommy won't live a year after you go, right? Guilt tripping Ghost into staying in the South Side, right? But this connection will be made, and I'm predicting it will be made around the time where Ghost and Angela are getting really serious, but the time where Angela's like, yo, I'm going to choke. I'm going to choke. I got to do this for my family, blah, blah, blah. Ghost will be contemplating going. And Kanan is going to say, that's not a good idea, man. Like, you want to be in the streets, you want to do this, leave that girl alone, you're going to get her killed. And of course, we know ultimately, right, Ghost didn't listen. He ran into Angela 16 to 18 years later, right? He ended up getting involved with Angela. What happens? Angela gets killed by mere association to Ghost by the hands of Tommy. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's gotta get that. That's touch my ink. That's on the dome, nigga.